Everyone to the regular meeting, public hearing, and workshop of the Hyde Park Town Board for Monday, August 11th. Please join me while we open the meeting with the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, please excuse my hoarse voice. I've somehow managed to bring back laryngitis from Cleveland, so it's been hanging around a while, so hopefully I'll make it through the meeting. So the first item on the agenda is our public hearing on Local Law 2, the storage of commercial vehicles on residential lots. I'd like to ask, we're going to be continuing the public hearing, so I believe standard protocol is for the public hearing notice to be reread. Is that correct? No, not normally? Okay, then that's fine. Okay, so I'd like to just turn it over to the town attorney first for a little update on where we are with this law, and then I'll be opening the public hearing.
Okay, just for clarification, there seems to be some misunderstanding about the scope of this law and what it does. It's a very simple law that was designed to clarify the existing statute with regard to the parking of motor vehicles on residential lots, vacant or non-vacant lots. And all we did was add a definition to the term residential lot. Doesn't change any of the existing law. The existing law is exactly the same with regard to parking of motor vehicles. We were a little surprised by the level of concern about this law, so what we've decided to do is continue the public hearing, take everybody's comment. We're not going to have a dialogue about it tonight, and we will review and distill all the various comments we had and take a look at the proposed amendment, and it's quite possible that we may change it or modify it. And if and when we do, it will be brought out to the public once again. So there's nothing ingrained in stone at this point, but you're welcome to comment on the local law, and we'll take those comments into consideration with what we already have.
Okay, thank you for that update. So at this time, I'd like to ask anyone who would like to speak on the local law to come on up and please state your name, your address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes, if you would. So come on up. Hello.
Jeanette Martino, 13 Franklin Road, and I did speak at the last one. And again, I'm going to speak at this one because I do have some major concerns. I'm very happy to hear that you are sort of putting it on hold and examining it, because there are problems with the original law. And I just want to go over at least 3 of them that are so blatant. One of them is the omission of definitions or defining parameters of 2 very important terms that form the basis for this law. One of them is, what is a commercial vehicle? And because you lack the definition, it automatically reverts to a term that opens up the term to become all-inclusive. And that means that tagged vehicles through DMV, which I spoke about before, and some of these might be private personal use vehicles like pickup trucks, will be affected. But this also includes any vehicle, regardless of class or type, having an identifiable use and association for a for-profit enterprise, service, or trade, and that was your concern. That is inclusive. That's what happens when you do not put parameters into what you are looking for in a commercial vehicle and the scope that you want to deal with within the law. Also, too, the differentiation between parking and long-term parking. You haven't really defined that. So if someone says, well, I'm going to be leaving for a month, I'm going to leave my pickup truck here, it has commercial plates on it. It's there for a month. Is it in storage or is it being parked? So there needs to be some kind of definition for that. The one thing that bothered me as I sat in and listened to the conversations that were going on with the previous public hearing was that the premise of the law is equitable application and enforcement of any law. And it seems that I know that you are trying to address a problem at the Green Tree, But the way that you have crafted this law, and that it is really overly broad, and then you are sort of selecting how you're going to use it, sort of goes against the grain of what laws should be crafted for. And this comes to the third problem, that once this law is crafted as it is worded, there has to be equitable application and enforcement of law, which means if you go back to how the original law was written, it's very restrictive. No commercial vehicle unless it's in the owner's name, and this opens up a lot of undue burdens placed on potential buyers in Hyde Park and potential property owners. How is a renter going to allow a renter to park on his property if it's not in his name and he happens to have a pickup truck or he has a company car that he drives home? How is a son going to, have a pickup truck that he's going to pull into his parents' house? There are a lot of issues here, and it really needs to look at, and I'm glad you're doing it. Okay,
Thank you, Mrs. Martino. Would someone else like to come on up? Hi.
My name is Rick Petchko. I got a house on 109 Honeywell Lane up in Hyde Park here.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is the right place to do what I'm about to do here. It's more of a complaint, and I just want to make sure you guys understand the severity. Behind us on Willow Cross Lane, okay, there is a piece of property that McDonald's Builders, the guy lives, all right, he lives in Pleasant Valley. Does not live in Hyde Park. He utilizes this storage for his commercial vehicles, all his stuff. It's an eyesore for myself, for my neighbor, for everybody. He's constantly running. I mean, you're shaking your head. You're aware of what's going on. I don't know if this is the right place to do
It's
that.
good. You're welcome.
Okay, I just want you guys to really understand that, myself, I have called the fire department numerous times. He's burning tires. He's burning stuff, all right? This is in a residential neighborhood, all right on Willow Cross Lane. And it's out of control. The guy doesn't even live in Hyde Park. We constantly complain, and nothing seems to be getting done. I'm hoping that this law is going to be in place, it's going to be enforced, and stuff like this can be taken care of because it's taken away from property value for myself and all the other neighbors.
Very much appreciate your comments.
And I can just, if you don't mind,
Go ahead, actually, I'm going to just grab something.
we know about that property, and I know the zoning department has been dealing with that, and there's some litigation going on with that whole situation with Gary and going back and forth. So believe me, we know about that property. We're working diligently with that, and right now it's going back and forth between the litigants there. So
Okay. Will this new law help basically prevent this from happening?
well, we hope so. I mean, it'll definitely, it gives more clarification. Like I said, this law that we're looking to pass here, or actually just to amend, is just giving more clarification. It's giving a definition about storage. So that way, if we do have to go into litigation, we have a little bit more clarification when it comes to storage. Okay. So hopefully, that could potentially help us. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Would anyone else like to speak on local law 2? Okay, with that, I would just ask for a motion to continue the public hearing. Is that the plan?
I think that was the plan. The only thing I request, because we would like to bring an end to this at some point, is if we do continue the public hearing, and if somebody who wasn't here tonight wants to file a letter with the town board addressing the law, that it be filed well in advance of the next meeting so that we could consider that communication and perhaps have something ready at our September meeting.
That sounds good. So
I'll make a motion.
Motion and a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, sir, I did just give you complaint forms, and the reason I did that is, have you filled those out before? Okay, well, would you mind just doing another one and submitting it? And I will follow up with the zoning administrator tomorrow, so I appreciate your comments. So if you could just want to leave it here with me, I'll give it to her. Yeah, yep, thank you. And then just the final comment. Again, the town attorney clarified that the law is essentially the same, and we are revising what the definition of residential is to mean something not only that already has an improved property on it, or an improved structure on it. It also has the potential to have one. That's the extent of the change. So just wanted to make that very clear. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to our workshop items. The first one is just you'll notice CGI Communications, the town website. If you ever go to the Town of Hyde Park website, you'll notice on the right, on the bottom, is a little icon, and you can actually take a video tour of the town. And that was done a number of times, first with Pompey Delafield and then with Tom Martino. So I was contacted this week, and they'd like to update it and upgrade it for us. And there's a whole bunch of new features, which I think are really interesting. So we do have a contract to sign with them. There's no cost to the town. It's the way they defray the cost is to enable or allow businesses to advertise, and they charge those businesses to do so. So I think it's a good deal. I'd like to do it, so there's a contract, and so basically just wanted your opinion on that.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of nice features. So, and then actually, just as long as we're on the topic, I'll let you know that I did meet with Dutchess County Shared Services to discuss an update to our town website. You know, we've gotten information over time that people would like to see a little bit more lively and clearer website. So we did meet and got some prices. The cost for the website was $18,000, and that would be a totally complete upgrade, and there would be numerous features, many of which I can't even remember. They're pretty complicated, but it seemed like an interesting idea. Beacon just did Beacon, so if anybody wants to check out Beacon's website, they could do that. The difficult part, though, for me to get around was the maintenance fee was about $5,000 a year. So that's very expensive. So we're just kind of thinking on that, and so I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll look deeper into it, but the maintenance fee doesn't alarm me too much. Being in business and seeing some of the dealers that contract with people like that, where they have the maintenance, everything is always fresh and updated.
Yeah.
And then the customers that try to do it themselves, everything gets outdated and stale quickly. So,
Well, one of the, Steve Hughes does a fantastic
Yes, he
job
does.
with our current one, but there are some upgraded features that would allow for faster transmission of emails when we send notifications for emergencies or various events, different kinds of things. Because we had a limit on the number we could send, they have to go out in this gated fashion, which leads for a very slow communication to the public. So that's kind of something that we've been trying to address. It also has like a lot of links to the county information, so that was kind of a good resource too. So it's worthy of exploration, and just finding the money in the budget. That's the hard part. That's the hard part. So, okay. So with that, we'll move on to our second item on the workshop, and I'd like to invite our town attorney. Excuse me, he's here now. Our town historian and the graphic designer Yvonne Loeb, who created and worked diligently on a new town seal.
You want to take up these two larger ones? for you guys?
Yeah, I'm wondering how we can get that communicated to the public out in.
Well, I'm not going
Out on
to, when we're
TV.
ready to do that. I don't know.
Okay.
But,
So thank you for coming again, and thank you for all your hard work on this.
You're welcome.
a couple of points I'd like to make before actually talking about the design. And just first, as the board well knows, no tax dollars have been spent in developing this design.
I'm sorry, what did you
I
say?
said no tax dollars, zero, have been spent in developing this design. Yvonne's professional time as graphic designer, as well as mine as historian, have been 100% volunteer. And I want to thank Yvonne again for her
Absolutely.
generosity, expertise, and patience throughout this process, and she's been wonderful to work with. Second, the town is not losing anything by doing this, but we have much to gain. The composite Stoutenburg-Roosevelt coat of arms that we've had for 50 years, but which really hasn't functioned fully as a town seal, will be retained as the coat of arms, a historic emblem for the town. The new official town seal will be added to the town's portfolio. The seal presents a more comprehensible and effective way to identify and promote the town. So again, let me go over why the seal was developed. To represent distinctive historical and natural aspects of the town, use iconic images and symbols recognizable by residents and others, present a dignified yet welcoming impression, and be adaptable for administrative uses and promotion. So overall, the design is simple, meaning uncomplicated, but not simplistic, as in one-dimensional. It is bright and bold, presenting a familiar, picturesque scene, along with symbols that give subtle layers of meaning. The seal is an expression of the town's pride in the past, engagement in the present, and confidence in the future. This is not any town on the Hudson. This particular view is one that has been identified with Hyde Park for centuries. And perhaps some people take it for granted, but it is special, and we should proudly claim it as our own. The stone wall is another feature that distinguishes Hyde Park and represents the solid foundations of the early settlers. The daffodils introduce a symbol of Hyde Park today. And as I have said before, the riverscape, clear blue sky, stone wall, and cheery daffodils evoke a sense of optimism for the future and symbolize the perennial efforts of the town to integrate and celebrate nature and civilization. Now, the first design was presented at the June 2nd board workshop and has been available for public to view for more than 2 months. And I want to thank those who provided constructive feedback. We did make some changes in response. We added the historic ship Half Moon. Where we go for that? To further identify what has been called America's River and connect people and place. And this is an allusion to Henry Hudson's exploration of the river in 1609 when the ship anchored off Cromwell Point and contact was made with the Indians there, a precursor to the settlement that would follow. And this was significant. This was considered an important enough part of the town's history that it's captured also in the post office in Olin Dow's murals there. So it does have meaning specific to Hyde Park. 1821 is the date when the town of Hyde Park was separated from the town of Clinton and established by the New York State Legislature. And the new town included the hamlets of Hyde Park and Statsburg. And then in this design, the 32 stars represent FDR as 32nd president. Now, we received additional comment. We have an alternative version which spells out hometown of Franklin D. Roosevelt, 32nd President of the United States. So really, you have your choice of whether you want symbolic or literal. And I hope this meets your expectations, and you're as delighted as I am with Yvonne's work. So.
Thank you, Carol, and I am as delighted as you are with Yvonne's work. I think it's compelling and attractive, and like Carol said, some of the comments were that, it could be anywhere on the Hudson River, but, I beg to differ. Growing up here, definitely that view figures really prominently in many of my memories and the history of many who've lived here. And so I think you've done a really beautiful job of capturing the past, the present, and creating a tool that we can use to brand ourselves. I mean, we're really struggling as a if I can just wax on about a bigger issue, we're really trying to market our town, to promote our town, to come up with a way for people to easily identify what great things we have going on here. And so I think an image like this really, it conveys that to the public at large, and that's really what we're trying to do. We need to do that in every way in our town. I mean, there's just a reorganization of the way commercial properties are being used throughout the United States. There's a reorganization of the way people are living. So what we're trying to do is come up with a new way to communicate to people that Hyde Park's a great place to live and to come here. And so I like this symbolic representation for a new century, even though we're 14 years into it, but it takes a while. So that's my opinion. I'd like to hear from the rest of the board.
I love it. I think you guys did a fantastic job. I love the history that you're able to bring forth in this, and it's just another way of branding Hyde Park, and that's really what we need to do, and that's something that I can do at least, is promote and brand the town, and I think this is just a wonderful tool, so thank you for your generous time on putting this all together.
You're welcome. I think Councilman to my left said it all, although I would like to embarrass you a little bit further and say that it's not just that we need a seal or some sort of branding tool to show where we want our town to go in the future, but the fact that we have people here who are volunteering their free time and with their skills to do things like this, I think says a lot about where we are going and where we are. So thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you both for those comments. So just to reiterate, to make it very clear, because I did receive various emails from people, and it's interesting because people said, oh, the new seal doesn't convey Hyde Park like the old one. And I have to, just allude to that, which is, it's a beautiful coat of arms, but I think and that is what our town seal currently is. And so it is beautiful. We love it. We're retaining it. But I don't think it does say Hyde Park. So people think that the FDR profile is actually the town seal, but it's not. It was just arbitrarily, it was chosen by someone and they've started using it. And so I think it's kind of confusing to have one image on the supervisor's seal in the stationery, et cetera, or in various places, and then another completely different image coming from different departments. So what I love about this too is it's apolitical, meaning it's not, so that's, we don't need any further divisions. We don't want people to over-identify with one party or another. And so what this does is kind of like a unity seal. So, so that's really where we're going with that. And I do think there was just a little bit of misinformation out there, so.
Well, I can say that I enjoyed working on the project as well. I look forward
Carol,
to.
could you push this up?
I look forward also to seeing it implemented
Okay, well,
in
thank
whatever
you.
way I can, help assist with. So
Well, thank you really once again for all your effort. It will be, if we vote on it and it's approved, it'll be a gradual introduction into, because we really don't have the money, to just change all the symbols and that type of thing. But that will be the goal going forward.
Can I just be a pain and give one other suggestion?
sure.
Where it says New York and then 1821, maybe another star between the New York and the 1821. So I know it doesn't look like it, people can say, oh, it's short a digit for a zip code. I just didn't, because it says, Hyde Park, New York, then 1821. Maybe if we had another star there just to break up the New York versus the 1821, so that way.
Absolutely. I can
Yeah, that's a good idea, Ken.
Yeah, I know. Between the New York and the 1821, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just.
Because Ken said, I think you're thinking it's confusing, like, oh, they put the wrong zip code on.
Yeah, I just don't want them thinking it's a zip code.
1821.
That's all. But that's just petty.
I certainly can craft a draft for you to review. That's fine.
It doesn't really.
But other than that,
Yeah, I'm so happy.
ready to go with it.
I'm happy with it. Yeah, really. Thank you.
I had one comment, I don't know, should the 32nd ND be in small rather than caps? the ND.
I know,
Andy.
I agree. I toyed with that, and I certainly
I just wonder what it looks like.
I can draft that up
Yeah,
as
just
well if
so
you
we see
want
what
to
it
see.
looks like.
Sure,
I think that would be
absolutely.
more correct.
I know, didn't want to start, with topography, once you start tweaking, and even if I just make it a little capital ND
Yeah,
as
just
opposed to a lowercase, but I can
Yeah.
play with it and see what goes on.
Now, Warren, would that require any adjustment to the resolution?
No, I mean, I'll go over the resolution now. because
Okay, why don't we do that? Yeah.
The resolution was created in order to give a history of what we have in the town, what the requirements are. And the first whereas clause referred to the fact that in November of '65, the town adopted the town seal, which is in back of us, which consists of a composite of the Stoutenburg and Roosevelt family coat of arms, consisting of 2 crane heads in the crest and the 3 fleur-de-lis on the shield from the Stoutenburg coat of arms, and 3 roses and leaf emblazonment surrounding the shield from the Roosevelt coat of arms. And that was designed by the former town historian Beatrice Fredrickson and Reverend Gordon Kidd of the St. James Episcopal Church, and the National Park Service curator Albert McClure. And then noted the fact that the town seal appears on the wall of the public meeting room in back of us, and has been utilized as a seal on some of the town stationery, but not all the town stationery. I believe the town clerk's stationery has this town seal, and other town stationery has the Roosevelt one. And that the town has utilized as an unofficial symbol or seal, the silhouette profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt with the cigarette. That seal appears on the town letterhead in certain respects, I think from the town supervisor's office, and many official documents. And there is a section of the local finance law which requires that all obligations executed in the name of the town have a seal or a facsimile seal of the town impressed on that. And currently, our seal is more in the nature of a notary seal, which states the town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, with 2 stars. It does not utilize this seal of the town. We use that for execution of official documents and bonding. And noted the fact that you both have been working on a new town seal, and you've explained quite appropriately what the seal consists of, and I restated in the resolution. And there really is no local or state statute which requires that you have a town seal except for the one that you use to officiate documents. And it doesn't state that you can't have more than one town seal or emblem. I couldn't find anything which requires it. So the way I prepared the resolution was that the town board adopts as the new official town seal, the one that has been prepared for us. I'm not sure which one it will be. But the town can continue to use the current town seal that we use for execution of obligations. So we don't have to go through the cost and expense of creating this in the form of a seal. I'm not sure how we could do that anyway. That the current official town seal, which is in back of us, continue to be used by the town as its official coat of arms. And that a town, in its discretion, will continue to utilize the unofficial symbol of the town of Hyde Park because it appears on our trucks, and it's unlikely that we're going to take those off in the near future, and the official coat of arms, and the town seal, of course, as it deems appropriate. Gives us discretion to segue into the
Right.
to the use over the years. So that's basically what the
I think you
resolution.
did a very good job of taking Carol's information and creating a resolution with it, so good. Okay.
I'm good.
Any questions on it, or?
Great.
Okay. Thank you both very,
so
very
much.
much.
Great job,
Look-
thank you.
Appreciate it. And Warren, you're going to be drawing up some sort of agreement for the copyright?
Yeah,
type of thing?
there's a copyright issue, and
Okay.
that's just a contractual thing that we'll
And there, in my opinion, there's no copyright. It's yours. So whatever
Right.
work I've done
It'll be
and
a
filed.
simple assignment of it, whatever rights, I'll take care of that. That's not.
Thank you.
Oh,
so much.
thanks again. Okay, so at this time, I'd like to invite the public up to comment on any of the resolutions, and being as that it is our first meeting of the month, the public is also welcome to comment on any item of town business. So please just follow the same directive earlier, 3 minutes, your name, and come on up. Hello.
Rachel Dildillian on Mill Road. I've been a resident for almost 40 years of Hyde Park, and I want to commend these ladies for their valiant effort and volunteering. I think that's wonderful. And but with no disrespect to the artists, I have some concerns about this picture. I only saw it Friday night for the first time. I don't know where it's been published, but I only saw it Friday night. I couldn't identify it with Hyde Park. I did not see the stone wall or the daffodils on the bottom. They're so incidental. Once I get the understanding about the stars and with the new change, that makes it very clear. But I'm kind of confused about the greenery, the trees here. They look like amoebas or ghosts and goblins or something, and I find that very distracting.
Okay.
And I didn't know we had such high mountains looking over. They're much, maybe those are just the trees again, but these are very distracting, and I think stone walls are very important. But they don't show up that well.
Okay.
But I think you did a good job.
But
I'm
they-
not an artist, and I couldn't have done any of this, so I appreciate your effort.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Good evening. My name is
Hello.
Todd Bender, 3 Louise Place in Statsburg. Counselor, congratulations. That was a great resolution. Because outside of that resolution, I think there's maybe 4 people that understand what that is in this entire community. I think the artist and the town historian have done a fantastic job in moving this to the future a little bit. And I know you're concerned about costs, and you've already met with OCIS once today about a website. If you talk to Chris Barkley, they can work on changing over your letterhead at a relatively incidental cost. And then we charge the county executive as part of the shared service agreement, so we can get some of the money back on that as
I
well.
like that idea. That's a good idea, Todd.
This is what I get paid for. But I just wanted to commend the artist, the historian, and the board for actually considering this. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Todd. Would anyone else like to come on up? Okay, with that then, we'll move on to the resolution portion of our meeting. Both the,
Just a
oh, okay.
clarification. Do we want to hold off the resolution until we decide which one we're going to adopt?
I think we decided, right?
Do you know
Yeah,
which one
let's
that we-
just do it, yeah.
Okay, but which one, we should specify which one.
Can, well, what about the minor tweaks? I personally think we should go with the hometown of Franklin Roosevelt.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
But did you feel like we could go ahead without the,
We can go ahead and just add, we'll add some language subject to some minor changes
Okay.
that might be made in.
Okay.
All right.
sure, okay. So both Emily and Dave are on vacation, so we're skeleton crews, so you fight over who goes first.
Resolution 811-1 of 2014, resolution authorizing the town assessor to attend the Manfred course training on residential sales and income approach conference on November 11th, 12th, 18th, and 19th, 2014.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 811-2 of 2014, bond resolution dated August 11th, 2014, a resolution authorizing the purchase of computer and copying equipment in and for the town of Hyde Park, Dutchess County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $30,000, and authorizing the insurance 30,000 bonds of said town to pay the cost thereof.
Second?
And this needs a roll call, so Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Barron's.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Supervisor Rohr.
Aye.
All set. Resolution 811-3 of 2014, resolution authorizing increase in petty cash funds for the Justice Court and the Recreation Department.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 811-4 of 2014, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign a blacktop contract with Callahan Industries Incorporated.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 811-5 of 2014, resolution approving the insurance of a hawking, issuance of a hawking and peddler's license to Shelley Augustine.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have insurance on my brain.
Resolution 811-6 of 2014, resolution authorizing the adopting the revision to the Hackett Hill Master Plan. And what this is for, it's for the disc golf that's going to be installed over there.
Do we have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you have an opening date?
We're going to be, now that we just passed this, we'll be doing construction to start the disc golf over there shortly.
Resolution 811-7 of 2014, resolution adopting new town seal for the town of Hyde Park with some sort of,
Yeah, Warren.
Yeah, let me give you the language. We're just going to amend the first now therefore clause to indicate that it's the new town seal number 2, prepared by Yvonne Loeb, subject to certain minor modifications discussed tonight.
So do we need to do a motion to amend?
Yes.
I make a motion to amend?
second,
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and
And yours, and
And I'll
the-
do a second for the,
for the resolution
Resolution.
itself, and all in favor?
Aye.
And I did just want to thank everyone for coming out. I appreciate you doing that, and we got a lot of public comment, and just want to thank everyone for their contribution.
absolutely. Resolution 811-8 of 2014, resolution authorizing the extension of the temporary full-time appointment of police officer Michael Plass.
second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 811-9 of 2014, resolution approving budget revisions to the town of Hyde Park for the period of July 2014, budget revisions number 2014-07.
Second?
And the most important point on this budget revision is probably the decrease in the mortgage tax.
Yes.
It's a pretty substantial $30,000 decrease in the projected revenue, and that's based on the information we've received. So that's disappointing and difficult, but it's better to be knowledgeable that that's where we're going. So do we have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye. Resolution 811-10 of 2014, resolution recognizing 7 recent high school graduates who are members of the Roosevelt Fire District, Engine Number 2. And I know you attended that, right?
I did, and it was really a very, very nice ceremony, and these young men are definitely to be commended for their volunteerism. I'd just like to express our gratitude and appreciation to Jesse Balin, Trevor Kunkel, Jonathan Oswald, Joseph Young, Nate Quick, Thomas Dreyhouse, and Zachary Benjamin for their outstanding public service and dedication to the residents of Hyde Park.
Absolutely. Thank you for the
And so do you
service.
have a second?
Definitely seconded.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
My turn.
Yes.
Resolution 811-11 of 2014, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute CDBG contract with Dutchess County Planning for the Farm Lane and Route 9 Sidewalk Connection Project.
I'll second.
So, yeah, we've been waiting for this contract for quite some time, and it's finally here. So we're eager to move ahead in the next step, which is putting out an RFP for engineering services, and that's probably going to go out in the next day or two. So we're happy to see this project moving ahead finally. So do we have a second?
Yes.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 811-12 of 2014, resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a contract with CGI Communications Incorporated for a community showcase video program for the town of Hyde Park's website.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then
Okay.
we are adding number 13.
Do we have something to add?
We have 13 and 14.
Oh, okay. That must be Marie's, oh, okay, here we go. Okay, so
So we have to
And 15.
make a motion.
13, 14, and 15?
And 15, right?
I do not have
I don't have a
15.
15.
Stop and Shop?
I don't have a 15 in here.
Oh, that's 14. Ah,
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so can I have a motion to add the following two resolutions at the dais?
I make a motion?
Second.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and, and all in favor? Aye. And go ahead and read number 13, Hannah.
Yep. Resolution 811-13 of 2014, resolution authorizing the chief of police to sign a silver project form with Michelle SHELLY'S of the Girl Scouts, accept the donation of picnic tables, benches at the police court facility.
So this young lady is, as part of her project, is going to put in benches and a little picnic area at the police court facility. So we thank her for that, and we'll be happy to do whatever we can to expedite that, because I know she has to get it done by the end of August.
I'll second it.
Second, and all in favor?
Aye. More volunteer work in Hyde Park. Love it.
Yes, we are a community of volunteers.
And this was also to be added at the dais. This is Resolution 811-14 of 2014, resolution authorizing the attorney to the town to execute a stipulation of settlement of the Stop and Shop Companies Incorporated for a tax cert proceeding for the years 2009 through 2014.
Second.
Yeah, the Warren.
Let me explain
Yeah,
this.
this one's to.
This is a tax certiorari case that has been pending since 2009, and the problem with these cases that we inherited that are so old is that there's a real issue with regard to refunds that you have to give both for the school district and the town when you settle these cases. And that's why it's our current policy to try to resolve these cases as quickly as possible, either through settlement or to go to trial. On this one, we did manage, this is a very difficult case, and we managed to settle it. The school district intervened in this case, and I think we reached a pretty good settlement, which reduced our refund by 50%, both for the school district and for the town, and provided that in the event that property is leased or sold or put to productive use, that the town would have the right to reassess that property. Normally, we wouldn't, but as part of the stipulation, we can go back and we can at that time reassess the property based on its market value. So I think we did pretty good on this one, and I'd like to see the board authorize the settlement.
Okay, it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate to have to give money back, yeah. But, okay. But I know that you negotiated the best deal possible
did the
for the
best we
town,
could.
and, yeah, and so here we are. Do you guys have any questions, or you ready to go? Okay, so do we have a second?
We had a
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so with that, can I have a motion to close the meeting?
I make a motion?
And a second?
second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Okay. I'm going to take